5 things I love about YouTube. Someone was trolling my account here recently, commenting from multiple accounts of their own. And they were making a bunch of interesting accusations. And one of them was that everything I post is negative about YouTube, which I don't think is the case. I do try to answer questions and solve problems, and so I guess I could see how that would sound like it's coming from a negative place, but believe me, that's certainly not my intent, and I don't think the platform on the whole is a bad thing by any means. Yeah, I think it could be better, but there's a lot I like about it. So I was challenged by this individual, who I will not name because I don't need to advertise for trolls, but I was challenged to say the things that I like about YouTube. Well, actually, I think I was challenged to make a positive video about YouTube, or be more positive. So here we have 5 things that I like about YouTube in no particular order. This was literally the order in which they occurred to me after I got the challenge. So the first one is the low barrier to entry. I think that that's fantastic. I think that basically anyone with any piece of equipment that can record video and can connect to the internet can put things on YouTube. I think that's fairly awesome. These days, almost every single device seems to have a camera on it, whether it's, your portable game system or your phone, obviously, or a computer or a tablet. I think that it's gotten relatively inexpensive to put cameras on things, and so technology companies just put cameras on everything. Ring doorbells. If all you have is a Ring doorbell, and I did an unboxing video of mine, if all you have is a Ring doorbell, you could use that to have a potentially successful channel, depending on what you film. I think that that is pretty fantastic, that the barrier to entry is so low, and basically kind of anyone, except for those in extreme poverty. And the thing is, in our Facebook group, Small YouTubers Boost, which you can find at facebook.com/groups/Small YouTubers Boost, we've actually had homeless individuals who were running channels and were managing with like an older mobile device and just using Wi-Fi that they could find. I myself actually recently experienced a period of two months of homelessness, and I was able to continue uploading to my primary channel, Vacation Impossible, using my mobile phone, and I had a tablet with me, and so it was a lot of shorts because of my mobile phone, but there was 1 or 2 long form videos I was able to get out with my tablet as well. I think that the low barrier to entry is really exciting. That kind of is similar and feeds into my second thing, which is that anyone can succeed. If anyone can get on the platform, then in theory anyone can succeed. You don't necessarily need a huge budget. Maybe you just have a good idea, or a strong passion, or good camera personality, or a unique idea. It doesn't necessarily take a huge production company. Go back to the 80s and 90s. If you wanted to use video as a medium to reach people, you needed huge infrastructure behind you, and it was a rare opportunity to be able to reach an audience or communicate through video practically at all. And so I think that that's kind of awesome that anyone can succeed. And setting aside some of the issues around SEO and the algorithm and that sort of thing, which we do try to address on this channel, it is a marketplace of ideas. And yeah, it could be a little bit more fair, the playing field. And that's something that I personally am working towards by trying to educate small creators for free as much as I can about those little technical things that they can be doing. But no technical thing is going to make up for not having an original idea. And so I think that that's very exciting. So it's not just that everyone can enter, it's that anyone can potentially climb to some level of success. You could say, the cream rises to the top, whatever that is. And it's not perfect. I don't always necessarily agree with the people who find success, and sometimes it's frustrating to watch. But just as often as that happens, there's an amazing story as well about someone who does find success through just their hustle, or their personality, or their ideas, or their hard work, or just those sorts of things. And so I think that kind of, there is an element of meritocracy, I think, in YouTube, and I think that's kind of awesome. And so my third thing is a little weird. This is my notes here. I'm working off of some notes. I actually wrote Army of Lottery Tickets. What does that mean? So the way that I think of my videos in terms of sort of potential success. Oftentimes I'm just happy to get my message out or to be able to help people. But part of the game is trying to get those views, get those subscribers, and maybe get that revenue, because the revenue makes it possible to potentially reinvest in your channel and start to snowball things. It would be lovely if every video went viral. Not a lot of the kind of content I make is set for making it to go viral. It's a lot of informational content. It's kind of niche. I've got my travel channel, so people who don't travel might not have a lot of interest in that. This channel here is all about helping small creators. Not everyone is a creator, and a lot of this is informational. I'm answering questions, trying to solve individual problems. That kind of stuff doesn't tend to go viral. It's sort of the funny or the shocking or the upsetting or the amusing or the inspirational. That kind of goes viral. We do a little bit of that kind of content here. Recently posted a bit of a funny short where I had a limerick about YouTube, for example. But by and large, we have a particular audience that we're sort of trying to serve on my two channels. And so the way I look at my videos, it's like, in terms of success, finding the views, subscribers, virality, or getting some revenue, it's kind of like buying a lottery ticket. But what's better about it than buying a lottery ticket, because the odds are long. Not a lot of people succeed on YouTube. Everyone can define success differently, but you want to talk that big success that like you can talk about at Thanksgiving dinner and the whole family's going to be like, wow. I think we'd all love to have that moment, and very few of us, I think, are going to have that opportunity, unfortunately. But we may find different levels of success that we may or may not be comfortable with. And so it's a little bit like buying lottery tickets, because the algorithm from the outside looks a lot like luck. And so the odds are long, it feels like luck, and sometimes there's things you can do to improve those odds, like buying more lottery tickets. But it's a little bit better to me because I don't buy lottery tickets, partly because I see that as throwing my money away. So instead of spending money to buy these chances of fortune, fame, helping people success, whatever you want to call it, finding your audience, I'm investing just my time and my labor. And so I set up my lights and I set up my camera and everything, and I spend the time coming up with the content, and I film it and I edit it and I upload it. So that's time and effort on my part. And I also do research to learn about, how to do these things hopefully well as I go along. But instead of taking money that I could be spending towards something that's more substantial or practical or investing or something like that, I'm mostly just spending time. And my travel channel, I'd be going on these trips anyways. So it's like playing the lottery, but without throwing money away. So you're buying your ticket with time. But here's the other thing. When you get a lottery ticket, it's only valid for one drawing. You buy your lotto ticket, and if you don't win that time, that lotto ticket is toilet paper. That is scrap paper. You can doodle on it. You can recycle it. But, assuming they even print paper tickets anymore, I don't even know. But let's say a scratcher. You scratch it one time, and now if you haven't won, now you've got a useless piece of something in your hand that hopefully you recycle. Where the videos that I put out, it's like the lottery is happening constantly, and they're constantly drawing new numbers. And so every time I put a video out, it's like buying another lottery ticket, and over time, more and more numbers just happen to come up. And it's been my experience in different ways. Sometimes something will get searched heavily that I put out a video for previously, or it might be that something's happened, and so it's suddenly particularly relevant. So I might see a view spike drawn by that. It might be shared in some Facebook group somewhere, for example. That might drive some traffic and be helpful to those people. Or it could just be that my SEO has finally gotten fully indexed and appears in search engines, not just on YouTube, like recommended in search, but that's important. But sometimes I'll start suddenly getting traffic from Google, from DuckDuckGo, from Yahoo of all things. That's apparently still a thing. Or some random website, some random blog, a message board. And so it's kind of like that lottery ticket, it turned from a loser to like a $5 ticket. And then it can come up again and again and again. And so that, I feel like, is something that you don't get anywhere else. I mean, there's other social media platforms where you maybe have that, and I can appreciate that. And, you might even have that with like a written blog or something or other things. Instagram, it's instant. I feel like pictures have a shelf life. On Twitter X, or whatever they're calling themselves these days, they used to say that a tweet has a 22-minute shelf life. After 22 minutes, you're probably not going to get a whole lot more out of it or from it than you did, other than maybe to get in trouble for it one day when the context has shifted, or maybe you said something you shouldn't have and later you get attention. Putting aside that for now, because that's not what this video is about, but I think that it's interesting that I think YouTube versus a lot of other things. I think websites, blogs, things like that are probably similar, but even it feels like TikToks have a bit of a shelf life where they don't seem to come up after a certain point. But I think with YouTube, particularly as it relates to search and how-to videos, problem-solving videos, things like that, you can create a lot of evergreen content. And so that is part of it that I think is really fantastic. Another thing, and again, this is somewhat to the barrier issue, but it's free. It's free not just to create, but it's free to watch. You have to put up with ads if you're watching. You know, you can get premium. I had that for a while. Can't really afford it these days, but for a while that was awesome. So now I'm getting more ads, and that's okay. But it's free. And so that means anyone can enjoy it as an audience member. And of course, any creator can create relatively low costs for free. If you have a cell phone that records video, and you probably do anyways, it's not an additional cost in terms of money. You don't have to invest a lot. And it's just an amazing opportunity to spread a message. If there's something that you care about, something that you've learned, some of my videos on my various channels have been born out of frustration, but have helped so many people. When I was going to Benihana for the first time, I was searching to see if there was any information on how to order, because their website wasn't really clear. The online menu, I was like, this feels different. And so I went looking. I was hoping there was a tutorial video, and there was not. And it was funny because my son was having the same experience sitting next to me. He was on his phone, and he's like, yeah, I can't find anything. And so partly I was like, okay, well, I wish I could have had something here. I'm going to help the next guy who finds himself in my situation. But additionally, of course, I saw an opportunity. As creators, we're also often sort of small business persons. And so I saw that there was a need that wasn't being fulfilled. I didn't know how niche it was, but it's actually, that video has performed a lot over time. We've got a lot of really good comments on that. Or on a Carnival cruise, I had a bad experience with a spa. I learned something about the corporate structure, so I shared that in a bit of a rant video. But a lot of people said, like, okay, I can go in more well-informed now and make better decisions as a result. And so that's pretty cool. Another example, even just very recently, I was trying to access a TubeBuddy function called Suggested Shorts, and it wasn't displaying for me anywhere, and I had to dig deep into like message boards to find out what was going on. Turned out I was using the wrong browser, and it's only for that one function. So I made a short about it, because when I was searching, a lot of the search results I got when I was trying to figure out what was going on were YouTube Shorts, and none of them were answering the question. So I'm going to put out a video that answers that question so that the next person, you know, me of the future, the next me, is going to be able to find an answer much more easily. Similar issue, I accidentally bought a fake SD card off Amazon. And so I created a short about that, explaining what that was, because I had to do quite a bit of independent investigation and research. And so oftentimes when I find myself doing independent investigation or research, or if I'm finding myself experiencing something that I don't feel well prepared for, that I wish I could have been well prepared for, great opportunity. And so that will be out there for potentially all time, as long as YouTube's around, to help other people. And so spreading a message, I have a video on this channel about staying motivated as a YouTuber. I feel like I say a lot of important things there that I've learned through trial and error, managing my own mental health and motivation in my channel, that I think would help other people. And so spreading these messages, now not everyone's message on YouTube is a good one, but it gives you the opportunity to spread one. And hopefully if you are in a niche that you're passionate about and you have a message and you have a why, I've talked about this a lot in my live streams, having a why is so important. And if you know it and you communicate it and you have a passion, you can get your message out there, and that's awesome. And it's also, at the same time, kind of double dipping on number 5 here, it's also an opportunity to earn. I make a little extra money on the side, and so sometimes that has come in very helpful for my family. There was a time where the family car died, and I also got a 1-year sponsorship payment that came in right around the same time. So being able to go and get a more accessible vehicle for a family who had diminishing ability and needed some adaptations, a vehicle that suited their needs, their physical limitations a bit better, I was able to do that without completely breaking the bank, because that was just some good timing on a sponsorship. And so there have been stories about people who have been homeless or who've just had whatever kind of financial difficulty they might have, and through YouTube been able to, either through AdSense or affiliate links or other revenue sources, sponsorships, etc., have been able to improve their situation, pull themselves out of poverty, or just get that additional money to take a little pressure off on life, or to do some exciting things, do an extra excursion on your cruise, go on an extra vacation, or maybe like help your mom buy a house or something, who knows? Roberto Blake talks about putting his siblings through university. And so there's a lot of opportunity there to do something pretty awesome. So those are my top 5. I'm going to add a bonus to my, it's not really a top 5, it's just the first 5 things I thought of. But here's a bonus thing that I really like about YouTube, particularly when you make educational, informative, fun content, motivational, uplifting, positive content, like I like to think a lot of my stuff is, the comments just are amazing. I mean, yeah, I get the hate, and I've got videos about how to manage that, but they are in the vast minority. Even though this video is sort of inspired by hate, I try to take those hate comments and turn them into something positive, like what you're watching right now. But some of the comments are just absolutely amazing. I have a video about James Darren where it was his granddaughter, I believe, who commented, who said that she never really understood what it was he had done in his career. She saw my video and then she just kind of got it. And so like she reconnected with her grandfather because of my video. And so like that video used to reliably once a month, I would just get some touching comments about people who really appreciated it for whatever reasons, or sharing their memories or whatever. And so since then, as I've shifted more into like cruise videos and on this channel, instructional things, the comments I get, I'm helping people make their connections for flights in Dallas. I am in Canada and I made a video, and at least once a month, someone comments on that video and says, I had a lot of anxiety about my trip and now I'm excited instead because I've seen it and I'm not afraid anymore. I get a lot of people who they have maybe autistic children, and those children might, or just with extreme social anxiety or something like that. And so they say that watching my travel videos has made them less anxious and more willing to travel. They've said that it's made the travel experience better, and it's taken some of the pressure off of those parents who I can't imagine some of the challenges that they must deal with just day to day. So if I can take the tiniest gram of weight off of their back by in some way alleviating confusion, saving them time, saving them money, helping them share with their child what to expect so that they're not anxious, they don't have anxiety about it, and then they can maybe even start to get excited about it. Like, that's a complete turnaround. And so some of the stories and the comments that I get on my various videos, even on this channel, you know, I was struggling with something, and then, you know, you explained something about the algorithm, or you mentioned TubeBuddy, and I've used that, and now like I'm like having this great success, or I'm finally less frustrated than I was, or I'm happier making videos, or whatever it is. And these comments, this way of interacting with total strangers and having the potential to touch their lives and improve it for the better, it's just heart melting, I would say. And so, yeah, my bonus thing I love about YouTube is heart melting comments. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching, and keep those comments coming. They're so motivating. There have been plenty of times where I just didn't feel like making a video for whatever reason. And then you get one of those comments and you're like, now I'm full of energy. Instead of questioning myself, wondering, why am I doing this crazy thing? And am I just wasting my time? All of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute. I helped that person, and maybe they want another video so I can help them again, or just entertain them. Or I help that person. Who else out there can I help? How many more people can I help with that next video? You don't want it to be like putting pressure on you, but if it pushes you forward towards somewhere you want to go anyways, and then it lightens my burden. And so it gets into this positive loop where by helping people, and then they comment about how you helped, and that inspires you to keep going and help more people, then I feel like it has the potential to just increase the positivity and the knowledge in the world, and reduce the anxiety just out there in the world, depending on the kind of content you're creating. Of course, there's content out there that predators off of anxiety and get you amped up and they make it worse. Misinformation and rumors and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, it's free speech, and I like free speech. So there's costs that come with it, and I will have, I'm sure, plenty of videos where I bitch and complain, as I have apparently been criticized of doing too much. But I just wanted to say that, like, I'm on YouTube for a reason, and I enjoy it, and I wouldn't keep doing this for this long if I didn't kind of love it. So I imagine that you do too. So hopefully this has maybe reminded you about why you love it. Because when you're in the weeds, when you're struggling to get views, and you're pouring your heart into a video and it feels like nobody's watching, you feel like you're screaming into the darkness, and there's just like, you question yourself. I get it. I find that taking these moments and going back and remembering what we love can be re-energizing. So hopefully that's had some positive impact for you. If it has, please give this video a like, help other people find it. Let's spread this positivity. Let's get a little bit more positivity in the world and on the internet and on YouTube, shall we? And comment your thoughts down below. I'd love to hear. And don't forget to check out some of our other videos. We do have a lot of actually technically helpful things on this channel, not just me pontificating. So like, we got a trilogy of videos about SEO. We got instructional videos about how to use TubeBuddy. I talk about my experience with Prodvigate, where I was running ads. I gave myself a $100 budget and then ran with it. And you can go see my results in that video. Epidemic Sound found is a great tool. So go check all that out. We've got useful affiliate links down below, and hopefully you'll find that useful, like our videos on how to get more subscribers. We got a trilogy there as well. And comment down below what else you'd like to see on this channel. This video was inspired kind of by a hate comment, so it doesn't have to be a hate comment. If you love comment, and then I can roll with that too. But thank you so much for watching, and go join our Facebook group if you're not already there, where you can find a lot of like-minded small creators who have learned a lot and are happy to share and help each other and are on a similar journey together. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.